Hello viewers, and here we have our first look at MotoGP 2022. Again, you wait for one bike game and two bike games come along together and we see one of the big ones of the year. Milestone have been working on MotoGP for years, every year making some steps forward, and so let's take a look at the new version and see what we've got. So in terms of the information that I've been given first, we've got new facial animations and 3D characters. Again, when you're looking before the race on the grid and the bikes are preparing and the riders are preparing, it looks excellent. It looks like the TV coverage. You can see really nice details on the faces and the various textures on the race suits and the bikes. All looks fantastic before the race. Little animations there giving it that realism. There's a ride height device now, there's enhanced track surfaces, refined suspension systems and tyre deformation as well. So new aspects there, and of course they also introduced the season 2009 mode. So I've been having a race around on a couple of the circuits here seen in India. I've not ridden this circuit before, so I thought I would try it out, see how I get on, and it's probably one of the most boring circuits I've ever raced on in my life. It's very flat, it's perfect for biking in terms of safety, but in terms of the lack of undulation and the general style and approach to the course, it is very dull. It's about as dull as a racetrack can be. The other aspect I thought as well to it was it doesn't really showcase the graphics very well. Some of the graphics are always good, let's get that straight. The bikes look great, the animation looks great, the track surfaces for me still leave a bit to be desired, and some of the tracks as well, just the way they're presented with the lighting, however it is, there's still improvements to be made. But some of the lighting, it looks really nice in terms of the sunlight reflecting on the track and different aspects to it. There's still lots of spot effects and details there, but you know, some elements do still leave room for improvement. However, it's good stuff. Let's not go away there. We've come a long way on the graphics on MotoGP and it's looking good so far. Now, just you're looking here at the PC version throughout my video, and there is also the addition of the two-player split screen mode. Now, I haven't had a chance to play the two-player split screen, but they have released some footage from one of the next-gen console formats. Now, last year I played my coverage on the Xbox Series X and it looks great. I don't know which format this is, but it looks really good in the split screen mode that we're seeing here. This is the stuff of dreams in terms of the actually, you know, a full replication pretty much of the one-player experience, seeing these bikes racing round, and a showcase of the different riding styles of the different bikes, nuances of the riders, lots of detail there. So graphics are looking good. Physics and handling is very advanced, but I do have some concerns about where we are with the physics and handling at the moment, in the sense that the challenge now is such that the game is, you know, it's almost on the limit now, borderline whether it's fun or not for the average player. I mean, I would actually say that you need to put in a lot of practice now in understanding how to position the bike, how to brake, not just braking, but the pressure required on the controller with braking, the pressure required on turning, the idea of where your bike's going to turn into the corners. You'll see a lot of understeer on the players who are playing here in the split screen. There's a lot of understeer in the game all the time. You turn in, you're either oversteering or understeering. It's getting it right into the corner is very difficult. It doesn't feel terribly natural. So there is still work to do in terms of the intuitiveness of however the physics engine is working. Now, I'm going to come back to this just now, because another aspect is we had the long lap penalty, which was introduced last year, and in the new 2022 version we have new challenges that help you get used to riding your bike, various overtaking and using various systems on the bike as well. Now, one of them is a manual long lap penalty challenge, and for the life of me I just couldn't do it. When the bike goes fast, it understeers around the outside. When it goes too slow, cuts in on the inside. When it goes way too slow, the bike just weaves around all over the place. You have no control of it at slow speed whatsoever, and that is an issue in terms of finding a balance there. So there's definitely work to do for the developers in getting that balance right, especially if you're going to do those manually. I would say they're terribly frustrating to absolutely nail it and get it absolutely perfect if you're not going to cut in on the exit or on some of these long lap penalties, because the bike is really tricky. I just want to hold the stick at an angle and the bike to lean at that angle and then control the pace of the throttle, rather than struggling to get the angle, the under, oversteer. It's just all over the place. So there is work to do on that. There's also introduction of the 2009 season. Now this introduces with a video sequence which we can't show you, along with the most boring commentary intro voice I think I've ever heard on a game. Let's have a listen to this.
Japan, home to Yamaha, home to Bridgestone, the perfect stage. It's been a year since you won a race. There are 3 riders between you and the top step of the podium. Time to attack. Rossi's still fighting. 7 laps to go. Time to shake him off. In the next 4 laps, open the gap to over 5 seconds.
I mean, that was pretty dull for me. It's like, oh, here we are then. So it's, stay ahead of Rossi. I thought, come on, let's get some excitement to it. But I've got to say, as the first challenge, it was very, very difficult. You've really got to get it right. Just riding the bike was tough. And they have auto braking systems in there, but I found that the auto braking made you so slow you couldn't win the challenge anyway. So you have to move to the intermediate settings to control your braking and acceleration to have a chance of winning these challenges. The racing line at this point, I'm assuming it's still a work in progress, because it wasn't working for me. It was on, but it wasn't turning red to tell me to brake early enough. By the time it was red or even yellow, if you hit the brakes when it went yellow, you're already flying off the corner. So I found the racing line was worse than useless when I was racing around on this demo build, and that is something they seriously need to fix, because if the auto braking and the helpful systems aren't helping people, you sure as hell need the racing line working so that people can maximise their line. Very challenging getting through those challenges. You will need to spend time practicing with your bikes, and I can't help but see that this is a very steep mountain for beginners when it comes to the MotoGP classes. Sure, it's easier in the other classes, but there's still a mountain to climb. So I just want to mention now a word on the audio, which is they're doing a great job on the audio. I mean, I was riding around briefly on the MotoGP or Moto2 bikes, and again, sounding great. There's a great sound to the audio. There's a great detail there, and the overall coverage and the layout, the systems, really nice. We looked at this on previous versions, the bike systems that are available. This is a comprehensive MotoGP experience, and no doubt there'll be more elements revealed in the final build when it's released. So it's all looking pretty good. If you're into MotoGP, again, it's one to consider. If you're new to biking games, I've got to say it's a tough mountain to climb in terms of the gameplay. It's borderline not fun in terms of some of the bikes that now they're so hard to ride, and at slow speeds there's something not right about it at all. They're just a bit all over the place. They do need to look at that. Replays as well are okay. They're still a work in progress at the moment. There's something about the replays that's a step backward based on other versions as well. Very strange in that sense. So some of the replays weren't looking as good as I've seen on previous builds, and I'm a bit of a replay connoisseur. A big part of that is the TV style coverage. They're not zooming in with the cameras and not getting the real bike detail that I'd like to see. When I see 2 bikers, neck and neck racing round, I don't want some far off camera with 2 dots in the distance. I want it zooming in and catching the action from those bikes. And at the moment, it's not getting it just right in the replays. A final note then on just the bikes and the look and the feel and the textures of the bike models. They're all lovingly produced. Fantastic work by the team. You can tell there's real passion in replicating the sport and getting the details and all those bikes absolutely right, and it's a good job there. A lot of passion in this project, a lot of passionate milestone for MotoGP. They love their bikes and it shows in the game. I just hope they can tie a few of these elements together to make it approachable, not just for the experts and the 0.1% of esport players, but to make it possible for all gamers to enjoy the game at their level, especially the MotoGP class. That's what they're buying, that's what they want to play, and it's got to be achievable with a reasonable work in terms of learning. But that's it from me for now. I will take a look at the final game when we receive it, and there'll be more from me very soon. Hello viewers, well thanks for watching the video today. Do like and subscribe, it supports what we do. Do become a YouTube member. YouTube Patreon supports all of our content you see on the channel, and of course lots of gaming from retro to modern games. I love it all in terms of racing action. So click on one of the two videos just there to find out more.